Hey everybody, how are you? We're just coming off our family weekend out racing on Long Island, the Long Island Trail or Brookhaven Trail 15K. It was a really fun race, really good to be out there with family. Kind of cool that even though I was kind of pacing family, that I ended up picking up third place age group, so I got a little medal for it, even though we were just out there getting a nice long workout in for the day. So we've got 5 miles today, basically a recovery run, and then we'll head inside and talk about the Hoka Carbon X2.
I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what.
All right, we're all set. I gotta say, this shoe advertises how cushioned it is, or that it's like this unbelievable cushion. I don't know about that. It's kind of firm, a little bit much more like the Saucony Endorphin Pro in terms of like carbon fiber plated shoes. It has that firmness to it. But either way, it carried us through our 5-mile run, and it came out to about 9 minutes and 28 seconds per mile, and about 144 beats per minute average for the heart rate. So we'll head inside, talk a little bit more about this shoe, and yeah, it's really warmed up, so I'm just sweating and need to take a shower quick. All right, everybody, with today's run out of the way, I want to talk quickly about the Hoka Carbon X2 and my experience in it thus far after just a few runs. So let's start with the technical specs, since it's the first time that I'm talking about this shoe myself. So first up, we've got the weight. It comes in a men's size 9 in 8.5 ounces. I'll put that up in grams here on your screen. So 8.5 ounces is definitely on the higher end of what I think they are trying to consider themselves as an elite marathon, half marathon racing shoe with a carbon fiber plate. Previously, the heaviest shoe I was considering as far as like a marathon racing shoe, I think was the New Balance RC Elite 2. And that shoe comes in at about 8.3 ounces. So again, that was on the heavier end, and that at least provides an extra level of softness. It's known to be a really squishy, soft midsole for extra comfort. So this even goes above that in weight, and it just seems to kind of fall out of the true marathon racing category, in my opinion. For the midsole, they've got their ProFly X midsole, so it's supposed to be a softer foam than the previous version of the Hoka Carbon X2. It is a little bit squishy, you know, on the firmer side for me when it comes to, again, these like racing foams these days. Asics, Nike, New Balance all definitely have softer foams in their carbon plated racers, but I did notice today as it's warmed up, this one does change significantly in its, you know, durometer and firmness from cold to warm. So it was in my hot car since the race this past weekend, and it was really soft when it came out, but in the winter or the colder weather that's been, you know, just a couple days ago for me, it was significantly firmer. So that's interesting, and definitely a big variability depending on where you're running. In the warmer climates, it seems to be a significant feeling of softness and difference compared to a cold weather environment. So interesting, different. I have never felt like that much of a difference from warm to cold personally myself. The outsole is pretty much just an injected rubberized EVA, so there's no true rubber on the outsole. You know, entirely just a hardened EVA foam, so we'll definitely keep track of how that overall wear takes place for me, again, as a heavier runner. You can see through this X, the carbon fiber plate is just inside there, so it's definitely close to the outsole. I'm assuming the carbon fiber plate actually runs all the way down low between the white and the red, just based on what I can see through the hole here. So that's interesting. It's definitely one of the farther down plates that I've seen recently. And the other thing about it is it's apparently a split plate. So on the lateral side or outside of your foot, it's supposed to help with your, natural supination of the foot or something like that. But I haven't really noticed any significant differences. To be honest, this is one of the firmest carbon fiber plate shoes I've ever felt. It's impossible to bend really at all. So it's hard to really tell if that's doing anything. And again, it's just heavier. So I don't really. For the upper, we've got a single layer engineered mesh up here. A little bit cheaper probably, again, as far as feel and materials than some of the other, elite racers out there. It does come in at $180 retail. A bit high, I think, for the overall quality and, benefit you're getting out of the midsole and carbon fiber plate. But the $140 price point that they're at right now because of, being on sale is a little bit more normal. And frankly, I'm only looking to use this shoe as a long run shoe. As you've probably noticed just based on my initial reaction, this is not something that I would choose to race in personally, but I do think there is some benefit, as I've talked in my recent video about good shoes for heavier runners. If you're a little bit heavier, if you're newer to the running world, this outsole is particularly flat. It has a nice shape and geometry, like a little bit of a rocker shape to it, a nice kind of this like flared heel outsole area that'll kind of catch you if you're more of a heel striker and like help you go and roll through your stride. So it's very stable is what I'm getting to, is this nice stable platform, and that may be very beneficial at $140. Again, if you're just getting into racing, this could be a nice option for you. But for me, and what I think is going to be best for more experienced runners, heavier or not, is that this is kind of a nice lighter side to an everyday trainer, or really, again, a long run shoe. So if you're going for longer mileage, again, this kind of rocker shape might help you get you through your day. The lighter weight will help you through, 20-mile runs, things like that. So that's kind of why I purchased this. I honestly haven't had a true long run shoe that I knew was going to be for my long runs since the Asics Glide Ride. And it just has a similar feel to that shoe, in my opinion, with the firmness of the midsole, the outsole shape, and the rocker geometry. It's just very similar or reminiscent of that to me. So that's kind of where I'm going with this shoe personally, and what I think it's going to do better for most people. Although, again, as a newer runner, this may be a nice stable option for a racing shoe. I know Jim Walmsley set the 50-mile world record with this shoe, but I'm fairly confident that he could have done even better in a better shoe. This just doesn't scream, the top of the line out there for me. I think there are definitely faster options. It wouldn't be my choice for racing. Some of the other issues I have with overall quality is just there's some weird things to it, some very basic laces, kind of a lot of foam in the tongue, a lot of foam in the midsole that's unnecessary, adds a lot of weight, and these insoles are the worst insoles I've ever seen. They were glued down, I don't know if you can see, by like two little tiny specks of kind of yellow sticky stuff, and it's so thin and just it does nothing for the shoe at all. You could take it out and it would probably feel the same, but it actually has started bunching, and you can see kind of the line of the crease both on the bottom and the top, because it's just not stuck in properly, and it's so flimsy that it's actually curling up a little bit under my foot when I run. So I'm going to do a better job actually gluing mine in personally, but again, it just screams like lower quality, not really the best shoe out there, especially if you're going for a race. You don't want things to fail on you. So again, it just would not be recommended by me for racing. I don't think I mentioned there's 39 millimeters of stack height. When you have that much stack height with a 5 millimeter drop, I kind of wonder what's the point of all the stack height if it still feels kind of firm underfoot. But I guess that's kind of open to debate and depends on what people like. But still, that combined with the weight and just the quality of some of the pieces here, it probably wouldn't be the best choice, again, for racing. So those are just my initial thoughts on this shoe, my gut reaction after a few runs. I'll definitely continue to keep you posted at 50 miles and 100 miles and maybe even more. Again, with this rubberized EVA outsole, should be very interesting to see how it wears. And Hoka also isn't really known for that much longevity as far as the midsole. So I'll be curious to see, again, as a 240-pound runner, how much life this really has in it. And, we'll see if it's any better or worse after we start to put even more mileage into this shoe. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Definitely leave me a like if you made it this far in the video. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in the next one.